Okay, so before we actually look at the solo, I'm just going to look at the chords that are running underneath the solo. You have an A minor, a G, and then you come down to the F. And you can play it in power chords that way, or you can do your A minor here, or you can just like play, just flatten your finger there because it's a power chord you're playing. So there's also this riff towards the end of the solo. You've got this, and that there you're playing the F, the first on the E, you're playing the A open, then you're playing the third on the A string, so you've got this, and then you come to the second here on the D string, you do like a little trill, and then you come back to the third on the A. So you've got this. So the first part of the solo goes like this. So for this solo now, you start by bending here on the 7th of the G string, and then you come to the 5th here on the E string, and then you're kind of running up the pentatonic. You've got this, and that there you're coming from the 5th of the E to the 8th here on the B, down to the 5th of the B, down to the 7th on the G, to the 5th of the G, and then here to the 7th of the D. So we've just finished here on the 7th of the D, and now we come to the 7th of the G, and then you go to the 5th, so you've got this, and then you come to the 7th of the D again, to the 5th of the D, and now you come to the 8th here on the A. So you come. So playing through that whole piece slowly, you get this. So for the next piece we have this. So for this part of the solo now, you're sliding up to the 10th on the B, and then you come in here to the 8th on the E string, and you play that twice. And then you come here to the 13th on the B and bend up. So you play it bent up, and then you actually play it natural, and then you come down here to the 10th on the B. And then you come to the 12th on the G and slide up to the 14th. And then you come here to the 13th on the B, and then you back down here to the 10th on the E to the 8th, and then you do the 10th to the 8th on the B, and then to finish off you've just got this. So that there you're coming from the 10th of the G to the 8th on the B up to the 10th on the B. So you've got this. So playing through the whole piece, you've got this. So the next piece is very similar to how we started. So the first part of this solo is exactly the same as where we started. You start here bending up on the 7th of the G, and then you come here to the 5th of the E, you come to the 8th of the B, 5th of the B, you come to the 7th of the G, 5th of the G, and then we come here to the 7th of the D. Now it's exactly the same as we did the first time, but now this time instead of doing this, we're doing this. So for this part now, you're coming to the 7th here on the G, down to the 5th of the G, to the 7th of the D, and then you're going to the 5th of the G, and you play that 3 times, and then the 5th of the D. So you've got this. And now we play this. And for this now, it is exactly the same rundown as we did in the first one, but you're not putting that bend in here on the 7th here on the G to start with. You go straight to this 5th of the E, and then you run up to here on the pentatonic, and then you're doing that. So it's exactly the same, you're just not starting off with that bend. So I'm going to put those two pieces together now, and I'll play them nice and slowly, and you get this. The next part of the solo, we shift positions, and you start with a slide. So for this we slide up to the 12th on the A, you play the 10th of the D, the 10th on the G, you come here to the 12th on the D, to the 10th of the D, to the 12th of the A, and back to the 10th here on the D. So you get this. The next bit we have this. And you slide in here on the D string from the 12th up to the 14th, and then you come to the 12th here on the D string, and then you come back to the 14th of the D, back to the 12th on the G, to the 14th on the G, and then you finish here on the 13th of the B. So putting those two pieces together, you get this. Now we come to this part. So for this part now, you're starting here on the 15th of the B, and you bend up. Then you're playing it natural, and then down to the 13th on the B. And then you're back up to the 15th, back to the 13th. And then you come to the E, and you're playing the 15th of the E, and you bend that up. And then you do the same here on the B. So you're playing it, then you're playing it natural, and then you come down to the 13th, so you play the 15th, and do the same on the B. And then you finish off that bit here on the 14th of the G. So you've got this. Now as you're coming out of that last piece, you kind of keep repeating it. It's this, you're coming from and just for clarity, it's all on the B and the G string, and you're starting on the 15th of the B, you're coming down to the 13th of the B, and you're landing on the 14th here of the G. Is that? So for the next bit of the solo, you've got this. That there starts on the 15th of the E, and you bend up. You come down to the 12th on the E, and then you're playing round on the B and the G string, and you've got this. So the main notes on that there, you're playing the 15th of the B to the 13th of the B and the 14th here of the G. You've got this. And then you bend up here on the 15th of the B, and then you catch the 15th of the E. Come down to the 13th of the B and finish here on the 14th of the G. So for a bit of clarity, I'll go back a bit and put the pieces together. You've got this. So for the next piece we have this. So for the first piece of that you have this. So for this piece we start on the 19th of the G, we go to the 20th of the B, we come to the 17th on the E, back to the 20th of the B, to the 19th of the G and bend up, and then we come here to the 17th of the G. You've got this. So for the next bit we have this. So this piece now is all played on the D string and the G string. So you start here on the 19th of the D, you come to the 19th of the G, to the 17th of the G, back to the 19th of the D, and then you come to the 19th of the G. You've got this. And then you play the G string again and bend up on the 19th. You've got this. So now we come into the last parts of the solo, and there's some quite big bends in this. You're on here on the 14th of the G and you've got this. Now with this, if you can't get that bend in there, and especially when you're playing it quicker, you can stay here on the 14th, you can do this. But he is actually coming back here to the 12th and bending up. And that there, you're playing from the 14th to the 12th on the G string, you've got this. Now we shift positions, but we stay on the G string, and there's this really big bend on here, you've got this. So for this now, you're bending the 10th note here on the G up to the 14th, you've got. And then you're coming back down, and you come down 1 fret, down 2 frets, down another 2 frets, so now you're on the 5th of the G, you've got this. And you're hammering it on and off from the 7th to the 5th on the G. And then you play the 7th of the G and you bend up. Back to the 5th of the G, and then you end here on the 7th of the D string. So we come to the very last bit of the solo, and we're shifting positions, we're coming right up the neck here, and we're doing this. And for this now, I'm fretting across the 17th of the B and the E, and I'm hammering on and off here the 20th on the E string. And what I'm actually doing is a pull off on that E string, you've got this.